Well, I would say the North Platte has always been on my personal bucket list. I've never hunted out here before, and it's really fascinating how you build things up in your mind.
Get him. Let's go, boys. I love hunting the river. You can't beat the sound of water. Moving water just puts a man's soul at ease.
Now we got it going.
As hunters and outdoorsmen, we get to see things that most people never see.
Waterfowl hunters are a special breed of crazy.
We're a bunch of determined individuals, and we push for wetland conservation. It is our passion.
Get 'em.
Well done!
To see them cut and dip and weave.
But seeing those ducks decoy and seeing that acrobatic moves in the air is something I never get tired of.
It was like the epitome of puddle duck hunting.
And when I'm outside chasing birds and sitting in a blind, I'm never more in the moment than right then.
To watch the birds work is the real objective of the hunt.
Ducks Unlimited Television is presented by Drake, the waterfowl company.
Hello, welcome again to the longest running waterfowling television series ever, DUTV. I'm Betsy Newble. In this installment, co-host Doug Larsen joins outfitter Jimmy Childers and family at his North Platte River Ranch in Nebraska. Childers loves the land, loves wetlands conservations, and hunting waterfowl with his twin sons. Beautiful scenery meets thrilling hunting with great people. All up next on DUTV.
Well, this week we're in Nebraska on the North Platte, which is, to me, a legacy destination in Nebraska, one of the great waterfowl corridors of the West. It's interesting. I think this is sort of a sleeper area in a way. I mean, there's plenty of hunting pressure, I think, over time. People know it's definitely here, but there's a lot of big country here. Between the Sandhills and the North Platte, you've got a lot of pothole country adjacent to that big North Platte corridor, and the ducks and geese are in it in a big way.
Can you kind of explain to me the Platte and the Sandhills are two different systems? Is the Sandhills is more of a habitat and the Platte is a corridor?
Yeah, the Sandhills is more of a rearing place, a food-generated ecosystem, if you will, which is only, as a crow flies, 15 miles north of here. So when it gets super cold and that ice is over, they come here as a refuge. Nebraska's special in the aspect, I feel, that it's the tip of the prairie potholes. Without the Sandhills, the North Platte River wouldn't be as good at hunting. It's not very far for those ducks to come up here, get food, shelter, and then go down there, get what they need when all this freezes, and they can come back anytime they want. And they know it. It's really a great place for all kinds of waterfowl.
It's an embarrassment of riches to have those two resources within a half an hour of each other.
Yeah, it's pretty important when they all work together.
I think historically the North Platte's always been important. I mean, all the way back to the covered wagon days, from fur traders and trappers to cowboys to, modern day outdoorsmen that are traveling it by canoe and duck boat and hunting big game and hunting ducks up and down the river. Like any of the major rivers from the Mississippi to the Nile, the North Platte's a very important waterway. I'm always amped up on the first day of hunting, and today was essentially what I expected. I mean, I was shocked at the number of birds that use that Platte River as a corridor. Even birds that weren't interested in your spread or interested in working you, the bunches of mallards that fly up and down that river is really awe-inspiring.
Get him. Go, boys. We broke him off that group.
Oh my God, I was just gonna say, that's the whole game for me. I don't want them all, I just want to break them off.
Ducks Unlimited Television is presented by Drake, the Waterfowl Company. Mossy Oak Shadow Grass Habitat, the official camo of Ducks Unlimited. Browning Firearms, the best there is. Nativ Nurseries, hand-selected, hand-grown plants for wildlife. Higdon Outdoors, quality, customer service, innovation, that's Higdon. And Ducks Unlimited's Conservation for a Continent campaign. Our wetlands, our legacy.
Get ready, boys. Get him. Go, boys. You call it if you see it, bro. Let's go.
You know, it's been a while since I hunted a river, and I've forgotten how much I like it. I mean, when you're on a pothole or you're on a slough, you know, it's certainly someplace where there's a lot of life. But when you get in a river with current, it seems even more alive. And I mean, you know, the current sort of helps you think about the passage of time, you know, as the water goes by, as time goes by. And, you know, it's a nice addition to a duck blind setting to be able to watch the water flow.
No, you said, like, baby Doug, you let us know. And I was like, now it'd be good. We had 5 in the hole right away.
That's awesome. Right, it came right where we wanted us. I love hunting the river, mainly because it's right there in my backyard. You can't beat the sound of water. Moving water just puts a man's soul at ease.
Get him.
Here we go.
Good girl. Here we go. Thank you, buddy. And them guys did a pretty good job.
Now we got it going. Well, I would say the North Platte has always been on my personal bucket list. I've never hunted out here before, and it's really fascinating how you build things up in your mind. I really expected North Platte to be a big monster of a river. It's really a glorified creek that runs very rapidly and is very braided, a sand-bottom creek that runs through some agricultural land, but it's been such a great and legendary place in waterfowling that I always wanted to get out here, and I'm so glad I finally made it.
Get him. Let's go, boys.
Ooh. Ah! Good job, Brennan.
We had a really slow start, you know, like it just seems to be a universal truth that there's always an 8:30, 9 o'clock mallard flight wherever you go, wherever they're feeding, whatever they've been doing.
It was interesting to talk with Jimmy when we got here about his history. His family's been on this ground for several generations, and you know, they really feel the history and feel a need to continue the history by staying out here and ranching on this ground.
So my grandparents and my family have been here for roughly 100 years, and it's not always been easy. They've had struggles. They've been to wars, they've been to depression, the Dust Bowl days. They've had to hunt for food. It all's kind of helped us, my whole family, get into hunting. Like, I remember being a little boy and my grandpa would take me fishing. My uncles would all take me hunting. Their hard times have instilled into us a lot of opportunities, and it's taught us all to hunt and to really provide for our family off the land.
I don't know, it strikes a chord with me. Maybe I'm just old school, but I think there's none of us that don't appreciate, you know, living and working in a historical area and doing what your ancestors did. You know, in a time when people work for tech startups and millennials change jobs rapidly, it's great to see people, you know, really grinding it out on land that they own and appreciate.
The North Platte River Valley is a small but mighty landscape. This area is rich in history and holds a special place in the people's hearts who live and recreate here. Not only is the North Platte River a waterfowl hunting hotspot, it's also unique that within 10 miles you can spot bighorn sheep, bull elk, and white-tailed deer. The wildlife abundance makes the North Platte River Valley a truly magical landscape. The North Platte River and its associated warm water sloughs attract wintering waterfowl in huge numbers. But countless other bird species also depend on this landscape during migration. including sandhill cranes, which descend on this area by the hundreds of thousands during their annual spring migration spectacle. In an agricultural landscape that is primarily privately owned, Ducks Unlimited has teamed up with dozens of landowners, protecting and restoring this unique river terrain for not only the wildlife benefits it provides, but also the many other services it provides to society. In the North Platte Valley, DU relies heavily on conservation easements, providing a cost-effective means of preserving habitat values in perpetuity while maintaining private ownership of these working lands. In recent years, DU and partners have permanently protected over 15,000 acres of wetlands along the North Platte and completed more than 50 restoration projects, returning degraded wetlands to thriving waterfowl habitats. These projects not only produce wetlands for waterfowl, but they also benefit the region's fisheries and other resident migratory wildlife. In addition to these impressive private land programs, DU continues to search for restoration and expansion opportunities to increase public access within this remarkable area. To find out more about DU's work in western Nebraska and around North America, please visit ducks.org.
DU Insights is brought to you by Mossy Oak Properties. Find your favorite place at mossyoakproperties.com.
Man, I love the Platte though. I mean, Jet, do you know how long the Platte is?
310 miles long.
Well, you pay attention in school. And Platte seems like a strange name. Do you know anything about the name?
Flat water.
It means buttloads of blackbirds, I think is what it means.
Kidding, listen to that.
Listen to that. You know what that's called when they're in a big flock like that? That's called a murmuration of blackbirds. If you don't learn anything else today, you learn murmuration.
Murmuration.
Look, I think any of us that have sons would say that, you know, there's nothing more fun than hunting with your own children, with your own sons especially. And I will say it's the highlight of my waterfowling year so far.
Nice little group here to my top right.
My favorite thing about waterfowl hunting is probably the bonding, definitely between me and my father and my brother. They've always been there hunting with me and maybe even my mom. Fun.
Just like what he said, with all the different sites and to see and how they come in and all the different moves they see and how we call them in and all that, just and how the spread's set and how they come into it. It's just all cool and a nice place to see.
There's 2 teal, 3 teal right out front. Watch this one. Coming right in, boys.
Hey,
get ready. Get him. Good shooting,
That was
boy.
perfect. I think I shot him.
Get him.
My friends Jet and Coy hunt and shoot and work like grown men. And that's kind of what you expect from ranch kids and farm kids. They understand what a full day's work looks like, and they understand that nature dictates the quality of the hunting. You know, on a windy day, the birds will fly and work good, and on a calm day, it's going to be tougher. And to me, it says a lot that those two boys would sit in that blind and be pleasant company, you know, even when we had some pretty slow periods when the weather got really nice.
My boys and my little girl, they're very lucky and to live in a ranch and farming lifestyle where they're gonna learn how to work. They're gonna learn to do things that other kids probably won't have the chance to.
Living on a farm is definitely something different, something to get used to, but something big for our family and teaches you how to be smart and how to use your brain a lot.
It's the little things we do now that when we get older as adults that we can someday do bigger things.
It'll definitely make us more successful. It'll make us more disciplined when we get older so we can pass it down to our children.
They need to know that if they take care of the land today, they're not preserving it just for them. They're gonna preserve it for their children and for their grandchildren. And I think they see what we do now to help wildlife and help the land. It's improving everyone's life, not just theirs, but my neighbor's life, my neighbor's children's life.
The Childress family are great hunters because they're great ranchers, and there's symbiosis there, of course, because if you take good care of your land, taking care of your animals, and you're on the land all the time, that translates into waterfowl.
Now first think about it. Most of the time you're in training, what are you doing? You're throwing a bumper in the water, splash is there. The dog goes to where it fell, unless you have some wind, and that might blow it just a small distance. But on a river or stream, when that splash goes down, it's not going to be there. It's going to be moving. But your dog is convinced it's there, and we're going to lose game. So let's see how to do it. There's 3 simple steps that you're going to work on. First, you need moving water, and today we have none. The problem is, in a lot of the areas that we're working, especially this time of year, preparing for waterfowl hunts, it's dry in the summer. So you're going to have to time your training a bit, maybe when you have some runoff going, and you know there's a nice creek or a stream that you can go and work on the moving water. The first lesson is how to get the dog across the water. They have to learn about the current. So we're going to put the dummy across the water and let the dog make the pick. We have Monroe here to demonstrate a nice little fox red. The bumper goes across the water, what there is of it, and Monroe goes directly across, makes the pick and comes back. Simple enough. Once we get the dog going across the water, we have to go upstream or downstream. Now, of course, you can use these bumpers if you like, but I suggest a tennis ball. Why a tennis ball? We're teaching the dog to watch. We put the dog on the bank, toss the tennis ball in his sight directly up the stream, and we want the dog to watch as the ball drifts by. We call it the floaters. As it drifts past and starts heading down the stream, the current, send the dog. You're teaching 2 things there. Keep your eye on the ball, go downstream, swim out, pick it, and come back. But you're also working on picking runners, wounded birds that are swimming away, and the dog is learning. Keep your eye on this tennis ball. So we're doing 3 things here. Today, we can't really use this dry creek to send them upstream and downstream. We're gonna have to wait for some runoff. Teaching a dog to cross the water, pick birds in moving water, it's a lot of fun. It's gonna be impressive on the hunts. But like being a good scout, you better be prepared.
Duck Dog with Mike Stewart is presented by Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. DUTV is powered by Browning Ammunition, the best there is. BioLogic, scientifically proven wildlife products. Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. TETRA Hearing, more than hearing protection, it's hearing perfection. Mossy Oak Properties, America's land specialist. Zink Calls, a champion in every call. Closed captioning for Ducks Unlimited Television is brought to you by Mossy Oak Bottomland, the official timber pattern of Ducks Unlimited.
I think for me and for a lot of people, a lot of the fun of duck hunting is watching the birds come in. But there's times when you can't. There's situations in some kinds of blinds where everybody's got to keep their head down and you're relying on one person, one hunt boss, to watch the birds and to call a shot. Everybody else, their job is to keep their heads down until it's time to shoot. And if that's you, you can't get ready. You want to be ready for that moment when you're going to jump up and start shooting. And if you're the hunt boss, your job is to keep everybody informed. The better a picture you can paint, the better shooting your hunters are going to get. But as the hunter, you want to be listening to this. You want to be ready. Get your hands on your gun. And since you can't see, you can't pick a bird beforehand. So the best thing for you to do is get up in a hurry, then take your time and find your bird. You're looking in your lane, and there'll be birds there. And if there aren't birds there, there'll be birds flaring back into it after everybody else starts shooting. So you get up in a hurry, you take your time, and then you shoot. We'll try that right now. I've got an incoming pair of clays here behind me. I'm gonna stand up in a hurry. I'm gonna pick one, make the shot, and if I have a chance to double, I'll shoot the second one too. For me, it's going to be a lot faster to find the bird and then make the move to it rather than get up and mount my gun and start looking around for a bird to shoot. We all want to look at ducks. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes you don't get a chance to see those ducks until you've stood up and it's time to shoot. So stand up in a hurry, then take your time, make the shot.
Ducks Unlimited's Guns and Gear is brought to you by TETRA Hearing, built for hunters by hunters. Calls, wings, or triggers, Hear the hunt like never before.
Get ready, boys. Get them.
Oh, no.
Good job.
Oh, the one what? Hunting with Mr. Doug and my dad is definitely something cool because I always get to learn something new and helps me to be a better hunter.
Hunting this week, I learned a lot more about conservation in the area I live in.
Get him.
Yeah! That was awesome!
I put that like 4 feet ahead of him.
So for me to have my boys and hunt with Mr. Doug Larsen on a spot that I created, man, that's historic. That's bucket list stuff for me. We had a great time. You can't ask for a better group of guys to hunt with, spend a few days.
I always felt great when someone would come up to me and congratulate me on being a good parent. You know, I don't think there's anything in life that any of us appreciate anymore than those of us that have kids. And, you know, the one thing I would say is I can't congratulate Jimmy and his wife anymore on the children they have raised. I mean, they have just done a phenomenal job. You know, polite, bright, fun, smart kids who look you in the eye and shake your hand and are a pleasure to be with. And, you know, that alone to me trumps any duck hunt.
What an incredible episode. A special thanks to Jimmy Childers and Ghostbuster Outfitters for sharing a special place with our audience. It's truly beautiful, and we hope to return someday to join him with his twin sons for more exciting adventures. And here's to cherishing every moment outdoors with family and friends. Those are memories to last a lifetime. See y'all soon with more DUTV.
Platte seems like a strange name. Do you know anything about the name?
It's a meaning of, It's the meaning of flat river, or
Just calm down, buddy.